Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spider Hands and welcome to SP Reviews, where today we're going to be checking out a track called Bear by artists Arienne Hearts Charlie. I think this is a duo. Switch over to here, we got ourselves the album. Well, we got ourselves some tracks. I'm assuming it's these two lovely people in the photo. Arienne Hearts Charlie, Bear. Let's listen to this track from start to finish and we're going to hear what we think. Let's go. Boom. That's some really solid guitar work there. That's some really stunning guitar work there. I love that kind of jazzy soul kind of vibe to it. The extended arpeggios, the finger style, it's good. It's very classy. Oh. Oh, we got some brushes on that kid. It's actually fascinating, the tone of it. I'm liking the vocal modulation along with the brass and all that. There is a real smoothness and a gentleness to it. Some strings in there as well.
Now where are my keys? I don't know. You drove me all night long. You were my destiny. We've got to hit the brakes now, baby.
I actually don't think I've heard anything like this. Maybe this is a style of music that's come up whilst I haven't been paying attention, but this is really dope.
Got to go home, but you're under my coat, down to my feet, tequila in my coffee. I'm gone. I love playtime with you, baby, baby. Where are my clothes?
I see they've painted an interesting image here. This is like a one-night stand or something like that. Or maybe they're in a relationship and they just go, we're so into each other that they lost track of time and space. It's beautiful. I'm loving the chemistry between these two. The musicianship is on point. The vocal performance as well as everything else included is very authentic. Don't get me wrong. I've heard like just sort of lounge, jazzy kind of stuff before. It's just really cool to hear it with sort of modern production elements. Some of the sort of the filter work and everything like that, the little delays and stuff like that are really nice. It's bringing it into that 2020s, you know what I mean?
Beneath you, I'm so bare. Not a stitch there between us. Oh, I'm stripped without care. Here it
And there's also a lot of dynamic range in this performance. Like, I can hear there's quieter and louder parts, and I know that seems like an obvious thing. Obviously, in a track like this, you know, you need to have that range, but so often you don't. It's compressed to heck, man, and it's not good. You gotta have peaks and troughs, you know?
my coat.
Otherwise, the listener gets worn
Why
out.
you wanna take my coat? I'm on my knees.
Like that little whisper there. Like that catches your attention, right?
I've got your coffee, yeah, I'm gone. Highline, playtime with you. Why you have to leave me here? Baby, I want you to stay.
Is there some vocoder work going on or something like that? Or is there a heavy amount of chorus? It's really interesting. Really interesting kind of dialogue going on here, a duologue. It's really cool to hear these two different sort of completely different voices with completely different levels of production and sort of aux effects on them. It helps keep those identities completely separate.
Come back, baby.
Baby, what you saying I'm downtown right now praying that my kisses are true. Sunshine, miss me. It's always nighttime with you.
That barbershop kind of vibe.
Baby, where are my clothes? I'll keep them off just for you, and keep yours off too, baby. I'm staying here right next to you.
Being here with you.
Wow, that was fascinating. That was really fascinating. I haven't heard anything quite like that in a while. It's neat because that ending there with it has those elements of the mid 20th century kind of those endings with the string and the brass and how gentle it is and the keys and all that sort of stuff. But then you also blatantly have some stuff going with those vocals in terms of the way that they've been. There is some modulation going on. I don't know if there's a vocoder or some sort of smooth out things out a little bit, but it's definitely been used for stylistic purposes. I think it's just to get a little bit of extra brightness and resonance into the voice there. Both of these musicians are obviously clearly competent and obviously adore each other, as per Arienne Hart's Charlie. I think that's a really beautiful name. It's nice to see a couple producing music like this. It's nice to see this level of ambition, because this is obviously not something you could write in a day unless you knew the right people, you know what I mean? This release is incredibly competent. It's well thought out and considered, very authentic, very interesting, has a sense of humor to it as well. I think a lot of people will sort of be able to at least appreciate the direction they were going with the concept of, waking up after, wondering where your clothes are, having to go to work and hoping that this time you spent with that person, that they weren't just going to forget you the next day. I can understand that. But, with the title bearer talking about showing your vulnerability, both taking your clothes off and also exposing your heart to someone. And, in the end of the song, from what I can tell, they did get back together. So that's beautiful. I dig it. Maybe this is an experience that these two have enjoyed together, or if it's just a story they're telling. Either way, it's incredibly believable. And I got a lot of love for it. A lot of love for it. It's nice to listen to music like this. I don't get to listen to enough of it. I think for me personally, I think the interactions between these two and the vocal sections, as well as their guitar work at the start, they were highlights for me. I really am glad to have that sort of guitar instrumental. They've advertised it as such with Solitude and such like that, and he's obviously very, very, very skilled as a instrumentalist. It makes me wonder where these guys will go next. From what I can tell, I mean, they've also released Solitude. This is kind of like this is kind of their release schedule, that they've released a few of these tracks sort of together, as I understand. I could be wrong. I might even be wrong, It'd be cool to see what they do in future, whether they release more material like this, whether they release an EP or an album, but I've got a lot of faith and a lot of hope for them, as I'm sure that if they can tell a story like this and make it audibly interesting enough to keep listeners engaged. I noticed as well it's just under 4 minutes, which is very good. It's very good. I was about to say they took a risk by having that longer and instrumental at the start, but they didn't, because it was so fascinating and engaging, and some of those melodies and harmonies were just so fresh that I don't know if a lot of listeners would have really heard them before. I think that if Arienne Hart's Charlie can introduce people to more of the style of music and maintain those contemporary elements, it'll attract a lot of people who maybe haven't listened to a lot of this sort of style of music before, and they may even really succeed. But I really wish the best for them, genuinely. It's really interesting. It's very cool. I'm liking just how the music industry in general is sort of going back to like those contemporary, like not the contemporary, like the extended harmonies and sort of these jazzy chords and all that within their progressions, and how they're messing with chromatics again and modes and everything like that. I dig it. It's really cool. Don't get me wrong, I love EDM and I love a lot of the stuff that's been happening over the last 10 years, but it's also good to hear this kind of stuff. But yeah, thank you for watching this review of Beer by Arienne Hearts Charlie. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Please do check out their various social medias, including your Spotify. Stay cool and stay safe. And please also remember, support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I'll catch you in the next review. Spider Hands out.